Okay, thank you for being here. So today, Carly, our one of our rubies, is going to be talking a little bit about leaning into failure and kind of what it means in our businesses when we fail and why it is so key to our growth to fail and to lean into it as we grow. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Carly. We are recording this so other people can watch it. So it's all yours. I'll
Awesome.
mute myself.
Okay. Sorry, I just dropped my pen. Hold on. All right. I have a tendency to talk really fast when I do this, so I'm going to try really hard to slow down. Okay, so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think like, how would your life change if you stopped stopping failure from happening, right? If you stopped not allowing yourself to be pushing yourself because you're worried you were going to fail. So you stop doing that. How would things change? How would your life be different? I want you to think about that for a minute. Okay, so as we go through this, like be thinking about that. So I know it can be hard to like wrap your head around, but we actually have to fail to succeed. We have to lean into failure to have more success. And I know it's hard at first to wrap your head around. It is a lot of, mind work that you have to do if you're not there. And this failure allows you to examine what worked and what didn't work with what you're trying to succeed, so that you can go back and you can make changes, right? And that is what we are constantly doing in our business. To be able to lean into failure, though, you have to really think about where your current failure tolerance is and think about what you need to do to increase it, to make it higher, because we have to have a high failure tolerance to continue allowing ourselves to fail, to be able to get that success that we want. So to do this, you have to be willing to do the things to figure out what that is. And that's not always easy, but you have to be willing to put yourself out there and do those things. So you want to think about, what is my failure tolerance? So think about that real quick. So think, what is my failure tolerance? So from a 1 to 10, for 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. When you fail, does it kind of make you feel excited to then now turn it around and try harder and do something different? Or you're the person that fails and you want to hide and you think that you feel like you're a failure and you don't want to try again. So that would be kind of, being high and then being low. Where would you fall in there, 1 to 10? So think about that when we're going through this too. Sorry, my notes down here. I wanted to put them up on the computer, but I didn't have time to do it. So the other thing too is maybe you're the person that feels like maybe you're not failing because you haven't even gotten started yet. You're still trying to figure it out, right? Are you trying to figure out how to do things, how to get into action, how to use Instagram, how to reach out to people, how to make those posts if you're not doing anything yet, right? So you're not failing because you haven't started, because you're figuring out. Well, guess what? As long as you're still deciding, you are actually avoiding not taking action, and you're actually resisting failure. So you're right, you're not failing, but you're resisting failure and you're stopping yourself from growing, because we have to fail if we want to grow and succeed. So ask yourself, how much more could I be doing if I wasn't scared to fail? And that is a normal thing to be scared to fail. We are honestly taught that by society, that we don't fail, right? If you feel like you're gonna fail, you just quit before it happens. You don't take the opportunities if you don't feel that you're going to be successful. This is what is embedded in us. It is natural for us to feel that way. And this is where a lot of the work is, to do on yourself, to get yourself to this place where, you're not worried about failing anymore. So think about it. How much more could I be doing if I wasn't scared to fail? I know for me personally, it's something I have to constantly be thinking about. It is not easy. It is difficult, and you have to work on it. We have a lot of trainings. I'm sure this is not the first time you guys have heard this. We have so many wonderful leaders who have done amazing trainings on the mind work, the things you have to do to get to this place. So if I'm going through this and this sounds like something you want to work, you need to work on, we have lots of resources for you, because it isn't easy. It is a daily thing that we have to work on. You have to be willing to shift do the big scary thing. So for people in our industry, that could be talking about Plexus, right? Maybe getting on the phone and talking about it in person. For some people, it's just even being able to talk about it on social media, learning how social media works, right? Reels are huge. Not everybody's doing them yet. Maybe you're feeling intimidated. Maybe you're not trying them because you don't want to fail. You think you're not going to be good at it, so you're not doing it. But for our industry, those are the things we have to do. Utilizing the groups and the trainings that we are constantly having. There's a great resource out there. You have to shift, you have to be willing to use them. Talk to your people about getting in the groups that we're offering. Educating yourself on products. I think that's a huge one. There's a lot of products that we offer that I know so many people do not talk about. They don't tell their customers about them. They don't, do lots of things that we could be selling, lots of different products, because they don't think they know enough. So taking that time to educate yourself, you guys, that is like preparing, doing that big scary thing, right? Putting yourself out there, that even if you don't have all the information, or you kind of stumble over your words when you're talking about it, it's okay. Learning to talk about them, it's all part of the process. You have to lean into the new things. You have to push yourself to failure to know what your limits are. You have to do it. It's just, you have to know what your limits are to know what you're capable of. You have to set the big, scary goals. Okay. So for us, those big, scary goals could be simple things like ranking goals, point goals, adding, add goals for the month, creating silvers. Maybe you're a silver and, you're going to push for something really big, like senior gold the next month. Making the goal bigger than you think you can accomplish. That is setting a big goal. You set a goal and it's so low that you're going to hit it, and it's easily attainable. You'll never know what could have happened, what you could have been capable of that month. And that's where setting the big goal is so, so important. And if you set that big, scary goal and, you know that it's likely, you feel like you're likely going to fail, but you hit it, or you set it and you work towards it and you do all the things you can do, where you're going to end is really going to show where your true, cap is at right then. And you're going to know what you need to work on, your current limit, and where your growth will come from. And if you never set that goal, you're never going to know. So that is how we set that big scary goal, right? Thinking about the thing that we're most likely going to fail, or we think, it's unattainable, but we set it anyways and we work for it and we don't stop pushing, whether we meet it or not. And that is what I just really want to encourage you guys to be thinking about and doing every time you're setting goals. You just have to push yourself to those limits to truly find out what you can do. Right. So it's important to understand that failure is harmless, right? We hear that all the time. It's not going to hurt us. It's just an emotion. It's a feeling. It can't hurt you. It doesn't define you. It's just an emotion. And once you recognize that, it's going to make things feel a lot easier. In fact, when you fail, when you are putting yourself out there and setting those goals, and even if you're failing, you feel like you're failing, a lot of them, failure actually can encourage creativity, motivation, energy, excitement, and tenacity, which are all the things that we need to be successful in this business. The more you increase your failure tolerance and you navigate failure successfully, the stronger and more resilient you will become. And in that process, throughout that, you're going to build confidence and self-esteem. So now I want you to ask yourself, what would I be willing to do if my failure tolerance was a 10? What would you do differently, right? Would you push for a rank? Finally reach out to that dream teamer you've been scared to talk to? Post that uncomfortable post that you're worried about how people are going to respond to it on Facebook? What would you do if your failure tolerance was as high as it could be? Once you think about that and you have something in mind that you would be doing different, or you would finally do, that's the start. That is where you start. And now that you have that, the next step would be removing yourself from the failure. Like I was saying before, you have to separate yourself from that emotion, because it is just an emotion and it does not define you at all. And when you continue to hold yourself and that emotion connected is when you continue to feel like, oh, I didn't just fail. I am a failure. I can't do this. It's not going to change. I'm not capable of it. Um, those are the thoughts that you are always going to have in your mind and tell yourself and believe, because you're telling yourself it over and over. If you continue to be attached to this emotion of failure, um, so what you have to remember, the failure is, it's just the data, it's just the information that we need to be successful. Every time you fail, it's an opportunity to use, to be motivated, to be excited, to take action and try something over and over to finally get the success and like the reward that you're looking for, right? The results that you're looking for is what I'm trying to say. You have to constantly remember that everything is figure outable, even when it feels like failure. It's not, it's just an opportunity to change it and do something different. You have to continue to create opportunities to do these things. And if we do not set these big, scary goals, there's those rank goals we don't think we can accomplish, the ad goals, the point goals, the helping our teammate goals, all of it. If we don't set these big goals, you are not creating opportunities to fail, and you're not going to find that success because you're not going to be able to figure out what works and doesn't work, right? Everything's just going to continue not working if you don't create these opportunities. The big goals require failure. They require that we're growing, and they require us to not stop. I can truly say that in the last 2 years, I've done so much growth in this area. And it does not come natural to me, and it is hard. Like I said, we have lots of different trainings, different things. If you feel like you need more resources for that, there is so much out there. But you have to lean into these failures. You have to continue allowing them to give you these opportunities, like I said, to grab on these different things and take it as like, this didn't work, I'm going to now try it again, and I'm going to do something different. And eventually you will find the thing that is always working for you in the certain situations. You will find success. You will be able to teach other people those same exact things, because like our leaders are always saying, honestly, like throughout my 2 years, I have heard it from so many leaders that it's really the same things. You just have to find how it works for you. And that is where the opportunity lies, in taking these chances, these opportunities, and growing with them. So yeah, that's about all I have. I hope that you guys got something out of that. I feel like I still talked way too fast, so sorry.
Thank you so much, Carly. Okay, does anybody have a question kind of about like, well, what do you do in this situation? Or I feel like I've been stuck at this point or whatever. Does anyone have a question like for Carly?
Big crowd today.
Yes, and I'm actually